So you've got Jackpot coming up. I mean, you've directed so many memorable movies over the years, from Bridesmaids, The Spy, to Ghostbusters, to A Simple Favor. I could go on. What immediately sets Jackpot apart from anything you've done?
It's the most amount of comedy action I've ever done.
Yeah, which is saying a lot. Spy, The Heat.
Yeah, I know.
Ghostbusters.
Well, I'm a Jackie Chan fanatic, and when I read this script, it was just like, oh my God, I finally get to make a Jackie Chan movie. Because, the greatest thing about those movies is he's always in over his head.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, and he's always in danger, and he's trying to get out of things. He's not going in like a badass doing stuff. And so it just felt like, the character that Noel Cassidy plays has the same thing. She just kind of comes to town, doesn't realize that this lottery, accidentally from her Airbnb host ticket that's in her pocket, suddenly wins the lottery, and then just has to stay alive. And then I love John Cena too, because I'm just a fan of his. Yeah. But I love that he's coming in as the muscle, but he's also this very sweet, innocent character at the same time. So to me, it's just catnip, because nobody's like tough and a badass.
And it looks like one of the most fun aspects of the film is going to be sort of trying to figure out motives and trying to figure out who's actually trying to help her and who's actually trying to kill her.
Yeah. When there's $3 billion at stake, and if somebody kills you to get it, you don't trust anybody.
Yeah, the premise is just awesome. I love it. Feels like The Purge meets John Wick meets the tenderhearted 1994 Nicolas Cage, Bridget Fonda drama It Could Happen to You. I just pulled that one out of
Wow, you know what? We need new posters. We need new tagline.
Were any of those influences?
All of them, yes. No, I'm a huge Purge fan. I think it's the greatest. But this was sent to me as a script, and actually it was called Grand Theft Lotto when it first sent to me, and I was like, that sounds really stupid. I'm not going to read this script. And then 2 days later, my producing partner, Laura Fisher, calls up and she goes like, you should read that script. It's super funny. Yeah. And I got about 40 pages into the 100-page script and called her back and said, like, sign me up. I don't even know how it ends. I just want to do this movie. It's too much fun.
Note to screenwriters, make sure you have a good title, because you could have a great script and a terrible title. And
exactly, but make sure that you clear that title with the people that own the property first, because that's why we're now called Jackpot, because the good folks at Grand Theft Auto said they were going to sue us.
They were not fans.
No, exactly. God knows we don't want to besmirch the name of Grand Theft Auto.
How much did you guys talk about sort of like what year to set in it? I think it's 2030, where you're like, this could actually happen by 2030? Or
well, I wanted near future, but not so far in the future that everything would be futuristic. I've always had a contention that, even when I was a kid, I go like, because you watch the Jetsons and go like, oh my God, we'll have flying cars and everything will look like bubbles and all this stuff. I go like, no, it's going to look exactly the way it does now, except the cars will look kind of different and we'll have technology, but nobody's going to tear down all the houses and buildings. So that was really fun to kind of just set it a little in the future. But everybody who sees this movie always goes, this feels frighteningly like it could actually happen.
Yeah, and it feels like it has heavy satirical elements as well.
Yeah.
Did you, in part, hire John Cena because, like yourself, he is just an impeccable dresser who probably owns over 5,000 suits?
Well, we have definitely bonded over that. We love our tailors. No, he's the greatest. And what I loved is with this is like, I want to put him in a suit. So we put him in a 3-piece ill-fitting suit, and he loved it, and it just makes the most of it.
But seriously, like, I mean, I think low-key, maybe he might be one of the funniest people working in Hollywood right now.
1,000%. I mean, he's really, first of all, he's a genius. He's like a legit genius.
Yeah.
I don't even say that but he taught himself how to speak Mandarin, and he reads the headiest books I've ever seen. He's teaching himself how to play jazz piano between takes in his trailer. It's like, that's the kind of cat he is. Yeah. And but he's so funny. His timing is so great. And I always have lots of alt jokes, and I'll read these jokes out to him, and I can stumble through them as I'm reading them, and he just knocks it, and he just says it back. I'm like, oh, that's funny. It's funnier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and he has even in the trailer, he has a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles joke, and he just made a TMNT movie. I know. Was he paying homage to his?
No, we had it first. I didn't even know he'd done that, so I was like, John, tell me you got that. But it's actually cool. We have a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle references in the movie.
Who's the funniest person you've ever worked with?
Oh gosh, you're gonna make everybody else hate me? All the other people I work with?
No, just elevate one above the rest.
Well, I mean, there's everybody's so funny. I will say that the people I was most surprised with Will Arnett, when I was directing Arrested Development, would just consistently destroy me. They had to keep moving my monitors further and further off the set. I would just burst out laughing and ruin takes all the time.
Yeah.
Steve Carell, when we were doing The Office, would kill me. And then I was lucky enough I got to work with Chris Farley when I was an actor. And I think Chris Farley is probably the funniest person who ever walked on this planet. It was called The Jackie Thomas Show. It was, Tom Arnold had his own show, and I was on that.
And this film is also a reunion of sorts for two of your stars, Awkwafina and Simu Liu, who had just done Shang-Chi together. Was that a coincidence? Did one of them sort of help lure the other?
No, it was total coincidence, really. It was, Nora was attached to the movie, and I love Nora, and we're actually friends, and we were always trying to figure out something to do together. And then we were trying to just kind of figure out basically who the villain should be, and got a call from Simu's team saying he'd be really interested in playing this role. And I was like, that's awesome, because I love the guy, and he's so talented, and he's super funny. But he's great because he plays a villain in this, and what you can't have in an action comedy is a silly villain. They can be funny, but they have to also go like, oh shit, but they can kill me. And he's just masterful, and he delivers one of my favorite jokes in any one of my movies. It's about LaCroix, and that's all I'll say. But when you see the movie, you will laugh, I guarantee you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Nora plays a character named Katie, who she also played a character named Katie in Shang-Chi.
Oh.
Did you know this?
I did not know that.
I was going to ask if she's going to be only Katie from here on in.
We got to do the ADR stage now.
We're at Comic-Con, so obviously I have to ask about Freaks and Geeks. It just feels so organic to bring this up.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever considered any kind of reunion?
I mean, people ask for it all the time, but I at the moment I have no interest in doing that. I'm not a big fan of
nostalgia.
I can count on my hands the number of times I've seen like a reunion thing where I'm like, yeah, I'm so glad they made that, But look, if suddenly this amazing idea came into my head, sure, but I think you just step away.
Yeah.
As James Brown used to say, hit it and quit it.
Yeah. Do you keep up with the Ghostbusters franchise, or is it like going to an ex's wedding?
Well, I mean, look, I'm very supportive of it, and Jason's a good friend, so I'm really happy for them that they have it kept on going.
Yeah.
But my team isn't. They did these comic books where they mashed us up, which was really nice. But I don't think there's any plans for them to do that. It's fine, I mean. Ghostbusters lives on, and I'm just a fan of the franchise.
Oh yeah, and I feel like it's getting the love. The more years pass, the more love it gets, and deservingly so. My daughters will tell you it's the best Ghostbusters.
It's nice, and yet it still can get people really angry. I just put up a post.
What doesn't?
Congratulated! I got congratulated for 8 years since the release, and I put up, thanks so much to all the fans and supporters. And you would have thought I had written, I don't know, something horrendous.
It's just so stupid.
They're wonderful.
But that is
to all you haters.
Thank you for that. That is social media in a nutshell. Do people ever come up to you and go, "You're the guy from Sabrina the Teenage Witch," and not realize that you are one of our most treasured writer-directors?
I still get recognized for that. Weirdly, I get recognized for that more in England. For some reason, if I'm on the
it's
tube,
big in the UK.
Yeah, exactly. It's the people are like, oh, you're Mr. Poole. Okay, yeah, which is nice,
Yeah, and so you've got Jackpot coming out very soon.
Yeah.
There was also just a big announcement in the trades. Your next film has been announced. It's from Blumhouse.
Yeah.
Are you going horror on us?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
I love horror. Well, I mean, it's kind of thriller horror. It's based on this. True story that was an article in New York Magazine, and then they have that show, the Worst Roommate Ever. And the first 2 episodes are based on this thing that happened with this guy that basically showed up at this woman's house, seemed like the greatest guy in the world, and he was a serial squatter. And it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. And I love Jason Blum. We've known each other for a long time. I think he's the smartest guy in Hollywood, hands down. And I just wanted to do something with them. And we've been developing this script for a while, and it's going to be fun.